Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Stay on stage. On-chain revolution. Done this. Phone.
Welcome back to On-Chain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the On-Chain Hour, and today's show is going to be absolutely epic because it is finally here. We finally got the XRP ETF. It is finally happening. 2 weeks ago, we got the Solana ETF. We got the Litecoin ETF. We got the Hedera ETF. Today, we're getting the XRP. This is a big deal because, you know, even if you're not a big fan of XRP, because now we're going to start getting more and more degen coins on the board here. Canary is actually the one who has the, Solana one, the Litecoin one, the Hedera one, and now it's officially the XRP. We're going to see a lot of others. Rumored is that Grayscale, their XRP and Dogecoin ETFs will go live tomorrow. So shout out to Grayscale. Grayscale actually filed for their IPO. So Grayscale is actually going to go public, going to be a publicly traded company as well. Shout out to Barry Silber and that whole crew over there. So today also we got the government reopening officially last night around 9:45. Donald Trump signed to reopen the government, and then the White House came out today and said, the Democrats ruined the jobs data. They ruined the CPI. We're not getting no data for October because they ruined it. But it kind of feels like they swept it under the rug. They were just like, we didn't like these numbers, so we're not going to put it out. I don't know. But they're, what they're kind of saying is that, with the people not getting paid, they don't know if the numbers are correct, right? So that's kind of the issue right now. But December is when we get the rate cut. There is no Fed speak in November. We do not hear from Jerome Powell. I don't think for another, potentially 28 days, 29 days. So we will get a December CPI for November and everything else. So they'll have that data and everything else. But it does look like Polymarket now, about 58% are saying rate cut. Yesterday, that was closer to 75. Just put that in your head for a second there, because we need a rate cut in December. We need to continue this rate cutting cycle. We do know December's 1st, we're going to stop quantitative tightening, which is the Fed going into the market and selling bonds, and we're going to pause. But eventually, we're going to get the easing where the Fed goes in and prints money to buy the bonds back. So really excited to start quantitative easing. We do know what happens with quantitative easing. The DXY drops. When the DXY drops, that is when crypto erupts. So I'm actually thinking now, and it sucks to say this, but potentially December and November could be sideways months going into the new year. Q1 and Q2 of next year could actually be the crypto bull run that we're all hoping for. So I'm still hoping for a bullish December, but I am almost guaranteeing a bullish spring, a blow off top style spring, but we'll see. So let's get today's show started. Without further ado, bring our partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling? A lot of news to cover today, a lot going on, but how are you feeling right now about everything that has happened in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, I've been digging a little bit deeper into the, Web3 world, the DeFi areas, the kind of, news on Solana, trying to keep up with the Spark stuff, and Zap launched last night, right? Which is the app that you can buy coins on any chain, but probably going to be pushing runes a lot, right? And so, in terms of the zoomed out type of assets, Bitcoin and the blue chips, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for them to be done with the back and forth. So I'm not paying attention to them as much. Obviously, I do because of the price action, but I'm not worried, I guess you would say. Not like overly like super hyper focused on them. Obviously, price action is our segment. I do look at that, obviously, where I think it could go for the rest of the day. But until we get those consistent days in a row, I don't think we're gonna have a change, I guess you could say. And that could come with good news, the government opening back up. I know it came last night, but it was the price kind of got halted a little bit with not releasing the data and stuff like that. So just there's going to be a moment, I truly believe that, to where we start that uptrend, but it's not here yet.
You're telling me you're not excited about the XRP ETF? You're not excited about the potential Dogecoin ETF tomorrow? You're not excited about Grayscale going public?
Until it starts to move the needle in terms of consistently, right? Of course, if we jump to like 106 for the second half of today, wanting to head to 110, I would say, okay, this is something. Let's see what happens tomorrow and Monday or Sunday evening and the start of next week. Then if I get some data that backs up my initial feeling, then I think I'll start to be like, okay, some of these catalysts can come into play now. You know what I mean? They're catalysts that we've been waiting on for a while.
They're not catalysts, in my opinion. They're foundations being created, right? Before you build the house, you have to build the foundation. Before we can kind of go up, we need to build an area of where, these TradFi guys can come in and feel safe about buying some of these ETFs. And, that takes time. And, a lot of these TradFi guys, they don't buy rips. They buy dips, and us being in this dip. And if let's just say we go with another 6 weeks of being sideways here, there's a lot of accumulation that can happen. We're seeing the Solana ETF being accumulated every single day, and no one's talking about it. And I do believe the XRP and Dogecoin ETF kind of will be in that same thing. So I'm thinking, dude, I'm really bullish on this 2 months out, but I think the foundation is being built right now.
Yeah, but it was a catalyst because it was something that we were talking about months ago, right? Looking forward to, right? I guess like speculated catalyst, right? But it is a part of infrastructure. You have to set that up, right, for these guys to come in. I think it's the hardest thing is like these catalysts that we build in our head that is related to TradFi aren't going to maybe hit the way we think that they hit, right? It's going to be a slower, built up type of thing over time. But good news is we do have some good things to look forward to, and we've been beat up pretty bad. So I do feel like there is opportunity to the upside whenever that kicks off. Who knows? Next week, 2 weeks, maybe after 2 weeks in December. Who knows?
Yeah. The Ethereum ETF went live in January, right before Gary Gensler left. He wanted to make sure that he put it out, and then but we didn't see Ethereum really start being picked up inflows wise until probably like March or April. So it does take a while. TradFi doesn't get excited about things. They're very calm, cool, and collective when it comes to investing, and they like to dip their toe. And then they really start really slow with just the toe, and then maybe they'll put their foot in, and then maybe go knee deep, but they never go all in, right? So it's one of those things where I just feel like giving them the opportunity now to start accumulating before we start there. I think the worst case scenario was us kind of really starting to move before these things really hit the TradFi, right? Having them there, having them sit there for a while, I feel is the best case scenario long term.
Yeah, I think it happened very quickly with Bitcoin. But with Ethereum, I think the TradFi guys kind of learned from that Bitcoin ETF and said, look, I mean, I don't know of any conversations or transactions or anything that happened, but it's just kind of weird that the ETF gets launched in January. Ethereum sees an almost all-time low in the past like 4 years, I think. And it gets to however low it was. I don't know if it's 1,300 or lower than that. But and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after the ETF has been live for about 3 months, hey, Ethereum's the next bee's knees, right? Like we all want Ethereum and all these things, right? And so it just wasn't cheap enough for them. And then when it got cheap enough for them, it's time to buy up.
Well, you got to kind of remember what happened with Bitcoin. We had a run up going into the ETF, right? And then Grayscale, they sold off for almost, it was like, what is it, about 2 or 3 weeks after that went live, because now they're, for the first time ever, their trust was now an ETF and they could actually sell down shares. So it was like 3 weeks where we were sitting between 20 and 25,000, and every single time that we felt like we were going to get bullish, Grayscale would dump every single day. And then a lot of that money ended up going into the BlackRock ETF, right? But it just took time for that to kind of rattle off. So it does take time for these things to really start moving.
Yeah, but you're comparing 3 weeks to 3 months, and it was instantly getting eaten up before. The 3-month kind of situation with Ethereum was like this. It literally went just like that until it hit that bottom in late March, early April. And then SharpLink starts saying they're acquiring tons of Ethereum. Like a month later, Tom Lee comes into the picture, the face of Ethereum. It just, I mean, it looks like a pretty clear plan that happened for those 3 months. And maybe it was that the believers that were believing in it, like BlackRock and those early people, were kind of ready on the sideline for Grayscale to dump that stuff. And then once people realize, hey, it's really something here, BlackRock is buying, then they try to rush over, and Bitcoin didn't really have a long period to where it's all, it getting beat up real bad before, it jumping up to new levels after the ETF. So will XRP play out that way? Will Solana play out that way with their ETFs? I don't think so necessarily. I think that they want it to probably, get them cheaper. I think they've had this opportunity with this pullback for the past 3 weeks. October 10th, that was their opportunity there.
Yeah. But again, TradFi, they do not buy rips, right? They only buy dips. That's kind of what they do. So we might see, the next 6 weeks be very bearish for crypto, so they can get their bags. They're going to wait for the ETFs they want to go live. Well, I think, but they haven't had their ETF times yet, right? So yeah. I think that they're going, and they accumulate very slowly. Let me look at the Solana ETF. There's like $40 million of inflows every day, but it's 40 million to TradFi is nothing.
Yeah, it is nothing, but I'm just saying, if they're, pretty much guaranteed, you know what I mean? Like, why not buy Solana when it dipped to 120? So I think some of those people did do that during this period, and that's why maybe this period has been kind of sustained in terms of us not really having this jump back up so quickly. It's because they're still accumulating.
They wanted Ethereum at 13, they got it. I think they want Solana under $100, and I think they want XRP under $1. Right? They want their opportunity to buy cheap, but we'll see. But there is some fun stuff happening in crypto. I don't know if it's fun for the devs deploying, but it's definitely fun to watch from the sidelines. So PumpFun Mayhem Mode Chaos. Day one, Shockwaves hit hard. Can they make a comeback? So yesterday, we kind of talked about a little bit that there was this new mode coming out called Mayhem. But it launched right as our show ended yesterday. And the Mayhem really went crazy. There's AI involved with this. Break this down for us, for anyone who doesn't know. What is Mayhem and what the hell is happening over on PumpFun?
Yeah, so it was a pretty secretive type of update that I think was planned for the KOLs that work with PumpFun to get the word out that, hey, this Mayhem mode is coming. It's going to, you don't have to participate in it. If you're a deployer, you can select the toggle to participate in it. What happens is, when you deploy your token, there is a AI agent trader bot that PumpFun has now, and it immediately mints double another billion supply of your token. From that, it's able to trade, sell those tokens down into your liquidity, right? And so a lot of these deployers that are used to making so much money by buying, decent size for, deploying a coin right then, let's say 10 SOL, and then they dump on snipers that try to get early entry. So they make, let's say, they make off of 10 SOL, I don't know, let's say that they make $300, right? 30% off of the snipers and some of these early entrants. They're able to do that like over and over and over, because especially if they have proven to get some motion on some of their coins. And then they, hope that the coin can kind of take off so they can get creator fees. What this does is, the AI agent bot is the first that acts on anything. So all those deployers that were buying 10 SOL, 5 SOL, 2 SOL, 20 SOL, whatever they were buying in size, immediately that gets sold down because this bot has 1 billion tokens that it could sell down, right? So these deployers are like, what the heck's happening? Like I'm no longer able to get that money from me dumping on the snipers. They're in fact the agents dumping on me and the snipers and some of these other, you know, farmers, early farmers and stuff like that. So what's the point of that? I believe the point is to don't kill your token from the get-go. Like, you know what I mean? They're trying to change that kind of narrative there. Secondly, that bot also has now a 24-hour time span to where it can randomly come back into your coin, sell down more coins because it has that supply, or buy more coins depending on, you know, what the activity like volume is needed on your token. If you get your you know some momentum in that token after you got your liquidity taken away, then you know it could come back and kind of help boost it, or maybe like sell some more tokens down. You know, it's up to that bot, right? And a lot of people were not happy with that yesterday. Traders weren't happy with it because they would try to bundle tokens early, and then you know there would be like really stopped momentum on a lot of these tokens. So for example, the deployer gets their initial buy sold down on, then you know some of these people that are trading or that are really good with sniper bots, they're actually coming in and they're trying to create motion, but no one's participating really that much into it. So they try to get out, but there's not liquidity left in there because you know the developer didn't buy no more, or the dev didn't buy anymore. The bot already took that liquidity, so now you're kind of stuck in that spot as a trader with the token, even though it's sold down and the market cap's down low. You can't even like salvage anything really. And the only way for you to actually get that out is if that coin actually bonds. So the liquidity needs to be re-added. So everybody was just upset about that yesterday, which, you know, I get it. I want to say out of how many Mayhem tokens launched yesterday, there's 2 that are above $100,000 market cap. Everything else is pretty much close to zero. So it's like 4,500. Maybe you have a one-off here for 10,000. So let me share my screen so I can kind of show what I'm talking about here. And you can actually filter it on GMGN and show, you know, only the Mayhem tokens. So if I'm showing this, okay, so you can see right here. So I filtered Mayhem tokens, and you can tell that they're Mayhem because they're red and they're kind of have the square and they have a red pill, right? If they're not red, then they're not. They're regular PumpFun tokens, right? But if you go down here and you try to look for one that's red, for this one has $11,000 market cap. There's 3, 4. Okay, this one's 31,000. That's actually considered like a decent one. 7, 2, 2. Okay, Valueless is one that has a community. It's at 175. This is probably one of the there's 2 legit ones that have communities, and above 100,000. Valueless is one of them. 6,000 here, and it's just like a bunch that are just so small. So this one right here is Savior. So it is considered a Mayhem one. I looked into it though. You can see 90% is in the top 10, right? So I'm not really considering this one a legit one. I feel like this doesn't really have a community. It just literally has one wallet holding all that, right? And then you go down to Mayfu, which stands for I guess Mayhem FU agent. I guess, but 89% in the top 10. So I'm not really counting this one either, because you know these are one wallets holding all that, right? And then you keep going down 10,000, 10,000. You know, there's not any other ones here. And then you get to right here where it says Mayhem Mode. So this was actually one of the first Mayhem tokens, and it's named after the thing. It has the logo after the Mayhem Mode. That you can see it's 120,000. This one also has a community. So those are the only 2, dude. Like literally 2 out of, I don't know, like more than 100 tokens that were launched Mayhem Mode. So I would say it's probably under 2%. That have a community and that's above 100,000 that's not manipulated, other than those other 2 that are manipulated, right? So what does that mean? That means that like it's, you know, hard to get through the first 24 hours, which these tokens are within that like 22-hour, I think for Valueless, I think 23 hours for Mayhem Mode. After 24 hours, the bot will burn whatever tokens it has remaining for the ones that it traded. And it did trade both of those, by the way. And, you know, the higher volume ones. Because it doesn't have to trade every token, but it will choose which one it wants to trade. So everybody's kind of anticipating something. You know, after 24 hours, what happens? It burns the remaining supply that the bot had minted originally, additional 1 billion. Does that change the market cap? Is there an announcement going to be made by PumpFun and Elon? What is this? Did everybody just get wrecked for no reason in the communities that are holding on, you know, tooth and nail above $100,000 with actual communities? Are they holding on for nothing? What's going to happen from that? So that's kind of the state of mayhem. And I know I went on for about 5 minutes straight there, so I'll kind of get your feedback a little bit here.
Yeah, a couple questions. So you keep saying bot. Is it a bot where it's just it has these things where it triggers if this happens, do this, if this happens, do that, or is it actually artificial intelligence that is actually behind this making the decisions?
Artificial intelligence. So obviously that does still have, like, you know, thresholds and stuff that it uses, right, in its algorithm. But this is the bot. It ends in BUPA. The bot name is actually Bupa or something, Bupa maybe.
Yeah.
And you can see it's consistently making trades here. So the mayhem tokens that are coming in, it's like trading them. It's buying them. It's selling them constantly, right? So the idea that a lot of people are talking about behind this agent bot is it's supposed to be a market maker almost, and try to get like volumes going, excite like people that don't have followings that want to launch a coin. They don't have to sit there and wait for someone, or, you know what I mean? Like the bot can instantly try to do some buying trades to get it going a little bit. I think there's parts of it that's trying to discourage, you know, developer or, you know, people, deployers of coins to instantly dump, you know what I mean? Instantly dump on, because they're launching the coin with 10 SOL and then they instantly dump on the snipers. It kind of kills the momentum. And then also what communities form out of the first 24 hours. Maybe that's something they're looking at because they want to have sustainability back, right? Whatever it is, it definitely pissed off the entire, you know, majority of every group that's involved with PumpFun. But we still haven't seen, you know, how this plays out after 24 hours and what the vision really is. And there's been zero communication from the PumpFun account and Elon that I've checked on X. So very curious of what they're going to be talking about with this, because they should be saying something about this. This is an update to their platform that's huge, right? Yeah. So hopefully that answers your questions there. You know, it does make decisions based on, you know, opportunity, and then also because it will sell down your token, you know, and it will buy it up too. You know what I mean? So
who deployed this Bobo or whatever his name is, this AI, this, you know, this, so PumpFun deployed. So who PumpFun is actually gave this bot you know, tons of Solana?
So it starts it off with a bankroll of Solana. Okay. and then they also have the supply that they mint, yeah, too, you know. So,
and you said it's double, right? So if my supply is 1 billion, that bot gets a full 1 billion
to work off of.
So what does the bot do right away? Have you noticed anything? Is there anything from coin to coin? It immediately dumps.
Almost immediately, it dumps the initial buy from the dev.
So if the dev buys 3 Solana worth, it'll dump 3 Solana worth of the token. So, okay, I do like that, though. So now the dev has to kind of go out and
work,
you know, work for his bags a little bit instead of just waiting for people to come in and dump one, because there is no dumping. He rides up with. I do like that. I like that a lot. So let's just say, you know, 90 new holders come into the coin's starting to fluctuate. What does the bot do from maybe your experience? So does the bot start buying with them?
Yeah, so it will, like, so let's say that like it starts to rebound, or, you know, there's momentum, then the bot will come in and kind of help push that momentum up at times, right?
Okay.
Let's see if I can find an example of when
the so far I'm loving this. I think this is a great innovation.
So this is that mayhem token that has a community, right?
Yeah.
So that bot came in right here. You see this, how it's like really volatile. It went, and the reason why I know that is because I actually plugged in the bot's address, and it showed that was the bot's buy. Like, I know that for a fact. Like, that was whenever the bot kind of came in here randomly and it started blah, 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 blah. It was very interesting. Like, it kind of went like that, and then it like started to kind of even back out, right? But I will say that, like, I mean, you're looking at market caps of 113,000, and this is the one of two top best performings with actually communities, right? So what's like, there has to be something that either they need a fix or something that's coming up that is going to pump these, because they're talking about giving it momentum. And I'm like, what momentum, right? Like, what momentum? Like, right here.
Are we going to see at the end? Maybe we see this bot just buy a bunch of tokens at the very end?
So that is what people are waiting on, right? They're waiting on what the supply is, right? So if you look at the Mayhem right here, it looks like it's holding $103,000 worth of this token. So I don't know if this is Mayhem LP. I don't think it's not LP, because 130, there's no way that's not the LP, right? So it's most likely going to burn that, a good portion of this, because this is going to be the supply that's still being held. Do you get that?
Yeah. Makes sense.
So you see the Mayhem right here. And so what happens when that 103,000 or whatever is, outside of the liquidity is going to be burned? I don't know. Honestly, this is all new.
Interesting. Very interesting. I definitely like it. I think it's pretty different. And I love the fact that they're doing something, right? Like, if they were kind of sitting on their thumbs right now, they're just kind of waiting for the market to get better. That's not healthy, right? It's not healthy for a chain, or the number one innovation on that chain, which at one time was PumpFun. So I love this. I love that they're trying new stuff. This doesn't work. Maybe there's something that they can take from this for the next version of it, right? I feel like they're just kind of testing things out. There's not a lot of people here right now. I mean, we both know that there's more deployers than actual buyers, right? So I think that this is really awesome. And I kind of want to give this a week and look back at some of these early tokens and kind of see if the momentum is there, because there could actually be some momentum on a lot of these tokens, but it just might take a few days.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not expecting anything like big with those, but if that happens, then it'll be more of like a pleasant surprise, I think, for people.
Yeah.
But also the two tokens that have one has $500,000 market cap, the other has 1.2 million, but 90% of the top 10 holders. Like, what's their reasoning behind that? Like, do they know something? Are they trying to gamify this new game that's happening as well? Right? So I think those kind of questions should be asked by people that are trying to figure out what the whole point is with this. Or at the end of the day, is it simply them just extracting more from Solana right now, right? Could that be a situation? If so, that would be really unfortunate, right? Because I feel like retail's been so beat up over there. And for this to be something that gives some hope maybe to some retail, and they participate only for them to actually build maybe some communities with a couple of these tokens, and for them just to go to zero anyways, then it's like even more of a slap in your face, right? So what the point is, I think we're gonna find out probably pretty soon. So
yeah, I definitely agree. Shout out to Prime Minds is here over on YouTube. Shout out to you guys.
Yo,
something's going on with our YouTube today. Something is weird. Yeah, man. All right. So yesterday there was also a drop of a new capital creator, Capital Markets, or CCM. Iggy Azalea dropped her new platform called Thrust. People were calling it Thirst, but it's spelled Thrust. Or Thrust. But Neon dropped a coin yesterday. Neon, if you don't know who Neon is a streamer in the Twitch world. It might be Kick, and he gets 30,000-40,000 people per stream live, sometimes even more than 100,000 sometimes. How much of that is bought? It could be a lot of it, but anyway, Iggy posted it from the beginning. I had a vision. Now watch me finish what I started, and that's what Thrust is. This is basically the token. It was a pre-sale. They raised about, I want to say, $15 million, and they put the whole thing in the LP pool. That's why it's $30 million, because 15 million of the token, 15 million of the Solana, and it's wrapped up in a token here. You are seeing this thing just kind of go up, have some volatility, and then completely sideways. I've never seen anything like this at 30. I've seen this at like 1 million, 2 million, but never $30 million, just kind of being this sideways. But this is what happens when you can completely control the supply. There really is no supply or demand for the supply that's sitting here. How do you feel about this and everything we kind of went over here? Iggy, Thrust, and Neon's first token.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was probably a good strategy, honestly, to have that much liquidity in there, because it can, blunt some sell downs, some massive sell downs. Obviously, there was some big sell downs because obviously it went higher. And then depending on how they're doing the circulation and circulating supply and how much is coming out and all that stuff is important. But people give Iggy Azalea a lot of crap because of the mother token. She did multiple times, go on shows and stuff like that, saying that she wants there to be some sort of sustainable type of situation. And I don't know if she's trying to do that here. It seems like it. But another thing that this tells us is that, like, man, liquidity is dry. Liquidity is dry for sure, man. Dry in the sense of whales aren't buying this. Nobody, little retail players, you won't be able to really notice if they were or not too much, right? And so, yeah, I mean, and then so where's her customer base going to come from with Thrust? Is it going to come from other celebrities because they are whales, right? They can make price move. It doesn't seem like that's the case yet. It does seem a very kind of high quality launch pads in terms of UI design and stuff like that. And it seems like it could be a way to onboard legitimate, celebrity tokens that are legitimate in a way if they are able to sustain and not do pump and dumps, right? Because that's what they've all been. We'll see if that happens here. Yeah, I don't think it's the right time for them to. I mean, maybe it is the right time for them to launch something like this, but not expect the market cap to like take off, right? Don't expect it to take off in these times. But maybe that's the time to get some of these, because then you can say, okay, this lower as the market gets better, these can go up.
I think this is the perfect time to launch this stuff, because if you launch in the hype, you're going to see up, and then completely sell off, right? You're going to see people trading right now. It seems like people are buying this as an investment. Right. Prime Mime says, is Thrust a new sex? It's a launch pad. It's kind of going back to how we did launch pads in 2021, where it was pre-sale, right? You go in, you have a team of people that go get the pre-sale, they get their tokens cheap, and then once it goes live, but then you still had the people with who did the pre-sale, if their tokens weren't locked, they dumped on everyone when the token went public. So then they started locking tokens, and that seems to be what happened here. Everyone who did buy tokens in the pre-sale, their tokens are locked, so they can't dump right now. So it feels like Iggy just went back in time and I don't know if she realizes this, but this is 21 launch pads. This is the old school launch pad that she's trying to bring back here. But I think this is needed for these celeb coins. Like, I'm so tired of celeb coins. They just immediately green candle and then 9 red candles after it. It's over and over and over. So it needs to be a different way. And if these celebrities want some of these CCM tokens or creator capital markets or whatever, then I think this is the way it has to be done.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that might be what the space needs a bit, in general, is doing it the old way. You have it to where it was so easy to deploy hundreds of thousands of coins, millions, I'm sure, over this year, and anybody can deploy a coin, right? And it just makes the whole experience of trading meme coins or celebrity coins or movement coins or community coins or whatever you want to call them, just it takes a lot of the value out of the experience and everything. So this kind of does go back in time, but maybe it's needed, you know what I mean? but we'll see how much success she has with this. I think she does have a good network. Obviously, she's a celebrity, so she's connected with sports players. She's connected with streamers, musicians, all types of things. And for her to come out with a product, a launch pad, then I got to believe at least that there's some intention of what she was saying before of maintaining. Because look, you can launch a coin and have good intentions if it's through, you had a group of people that got into it with you in the very beginning or whatever that would try to be your advisors for Solana. They could mess it up to where there's nothing you could do to really make it better unless you're going to go bankrupt yourself. No celebrity's going to do that. Right. Yeah. And so this gives control kind of back to the actual celebrity and says, okay, you'll know their intentions, I think. So if this starts to show, that these tokens are going to start rugging, and then you'll say, okay, all along she was just BSing about that. But if it starts to have success, she could be on, at the start of something big for that sector.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I love, because she's been somebody who from day one, she came in the space and she wanted to learn, right? She's been in the spaces. It's not her assistant. People were saying in the beginning it was her brother that was doing. No, it's been her voice. It's been her vision. She thinks crypto has, a lot of potential, which is awesome to see someone like her kind of be in this with us. And then she saw a problem with PumpFun, and her biggest problem with PumpFun was the snipers. She said, every token gets sniped up. This is the only way you can actually do this without snipers. And, and Neon doesn't seem to be someone who's very interested in crypto. And she's bringing in these people for the first time ever who have good intentions here. I mean, listen to this, real ownership. Holding Neon means you don't just follow the culture, you help shape it. As the community grows in attention and energy, you share in the upside. The more you participate, the more your position and influence grows. Guidelines, respect the culture. This is Neon's world. Keep it positive, creative, authentic. And you can join a community here. You join the community, you have to log in, and then you're part of this group of people. Potentially, it could be anything you want it to be. It can be an alpha group. It could be, just a group of people who are like-minded around this guy who's trying to build this new culture. I love this. I love every aspect of this because it just feels good.
You know what? You know what this could turn into? This could turn into Clubhouse with coins. Clubhouse with coins. And for the audience that are asking, what's Clubhouse? If you were here last cycle, 2020, 2021, Clubhouse was a way for people to get, and it was celebrities were pretty much the ones that would run a lot of these groups, and it was a social media app that was groups that had alpha inside, great conversations about the markets or whatever, music, and celebrities were the ones that were kind of hosting all these like conversations or chat groups. And so this could turn into that, except for with coins, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what the next step of evolution is for this. Neon, I think, is actually a great person to kick this off with, because he has that personality that to where he could be a jerk on stream, but everybody knows that deep down the dude's probably a nice guy. And so it's interesting to see where it goes. 31 million, not bad after a couple dumps. Let's see if it can have any sustainability.
Yeah, I mean, it was sniped, right? So they what they did, they put the token out and it still got sniped, but then they were able to dump on the snipers. Right. So that's kind of what you saw the green candle is. They kind of dumped on the snipers themselves. So snipers did not make money on this. That was the whole kind of point of it as well. Prime Mime says, is this a creator tokens then? And is there some utility that the Thrust launchpad is adding? Week come from the holdings, artist perks, access, anything more. So it's probably up to the person themselves, right? They can do meet and greets. They can, I can't access this community because I'm not a holder. So holding the token gets you access to the community. Right. So who knows what they're going to be offering inside this community? It could be anything. And different people can do different things, right? Depending. I mean, we might be able to, hey, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, let's do a raffle. You get to come on my stream. If you get invited to Neon stream, you're immediately going to wake up to like 5,000-6,000 new followers on Kick. If you start a Kick and YouTube or whatever, right? People are going to want to know where to come find you at. He's going to let you show your accounts and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of thing, and then he might throw a party for the people in the community. Maybe you have to show access through your Phantom wallet or whatever. But I think this is all good. And on top of that, Solana active addresses right now fall to a 12-month low. So we're talking PumpFun's trying stuff. We see Iggy Azalea trying to try stuff. Bringing Neon on. We need something, because if not, crypto is going to go to the wayside, and it's just falling apart right now.
We've been through situations like that too, though. You know, where Ethereum was pretty much rock bottom, and Solana was also rock bottom because it was going through that situation with its association with FTX and whatever, right? And there's always something that comes up to kind of give relief, right? I think that maybe in 2022 there was probably like a 3-month span where there was nothing at all, but you know, in the summer, I think that's whenever things got really bad. But you know, it's your job if you want to be in, you know, in this market or in this industry to figure out where that's going to be. And so that's what we do. We're constantly scanning, and you know, some these new ideas with PumpFun, with Iggy and this launchpad. You know, these are things that could be, you know, something, right? You got Spark and Flashnet on Bitcoin. And then you got some, you know, Mega ETH launch coming up and Monad. So you have some things that are kind of working in the background, but which one's going to take the attention? Which one's going to start to build up and grab that liquidity torch? Because that's what's going to, you know, whether it stays on the new idea on Solana or one of these other environments take it, something's going to happen.
Definitely a fun conversation for sure. All right. I figured let's just jump into the Bitcoin price action crypto bubbles. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, let's get right into that. Yeah, I know that's kind of why I said it. Bitcoin sitting at 100,000. You know, getting kind of beat up right now. I figure we jump right into this because this is something that we need to talk about because it's not looking great.
Yeah, let's do it. And I hate to kind of be the bearer of bad news, but it's not looking great here. But before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like, subscribe to the channel, all that great stuff, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, let's share the space. Let's get as many people in here as possible. Same thing with Abstract. Shout out to you know, Zora, PumpFun, all you new audiences out there. Let's get into some price action here. Oh, I got to remove your screen first. There we go. All right. Does that look right? Okay, cool. Yeah, that is not a great look here. You just see that freaking downtrend forming right there. But yeah, it looks like we are going to be challenging that $100,000 mark. We didn't actually get there yesterday when I said, you know, it was definitely a possibility for us to, and today it looks like we want to, or the price wants to at least. You can see the MACD's just starting again with another sell session. And yesterday it was kind of the same case. Whenever I went over this, it was like just about to start or just started not long before. The stochastic RSI heading right to the oversold territory. So probably either gonna, you know, just kind of bounce up. If we get below 100,000, we could see a quick kind of hop back over that threshold, because it is a psychological price point. We know that. But if it does decide to park down here, we could see how far it wants to take it down, right? We are just starting the sell pressure. It's pretty decently strong from what I'm seeing here on this indicator, the MACD indicator. It looks like it, you know, that fast line's not straight up and down, but it's getting there, right? So let's see where it wants to head, right? It does seem like it wants to do a little bit of a dance right now between 100,800 and 100,900. But let's squeeze this in and see what the support and resistance looks like in terms of trades with buyers and sellers. And this is going back to, it's a little too early. So I do want to see what's happening locally. Okay, 6 a.m. here, right? You can pull this up a little bit as well. Okay. At the $100,800 mark, we are getting dominated here by the resistance as we're climbing up, as I'm saying that. But that's what the numbers are showing us. Above that, same thing, and above that, it really doesn't switch back until we get here to 101,200. But this area right here is the highest volume area in this kind of local price range, right? So that is kind of a good sign if we can, you know, kind of have a I guess an attraction to this area right here, right? Pulled over here, then that could be a good situation. But seems like the resistance is really just kind of overbearing right here. Below that's not bad because the volume's really low and it's very close. And then below that is, even if we free fall here a little bit, I think we can catch because it is pretty close down here as well. So it's going to be very important to see, you know, if we do break down below $100,000, where does it want to head? I have a feeling it will jump right back over. the $100,000 mark, and then, probably get eventually slow down if we do fall into that sell pressure there. Excuse me. But that is what I'm seeing for the hour chart. Really need to see, this have some sort of immediate reversal from some headline or something. Otherwise, I do think we eventually get down below 100,000. Let's see what the 4 hour looks like. The 4 hour is giving us some backup data here, saying, you see this fake out right here? Whoop, boom, and we're back into sell pressure right here, right? So we could see this dive below that 20-point mark on the 4 hour as well. So yeah, this is making me feel, like sticking with that thesis. Anything can change though. If any announcement comes out, that is how the markets really work, right? But yeah, the 4 hours giving me support to that thesis that we do break down below 100,000 at some point today. Looking at the daily has a continuation of the sell pressure. It looked like we were going to get out of this. I actually hate this, looking at this chart every single day, because I hate the fact that we got juked and faked out here. But it's what happened, right? How long does this extend, right? That's an important question, right? Do we have some sort of, it did look like it was going to close up here, and it got, faked out and then back into the sell pressure. We're not as intense as this, but it did take a couple of these hour days for us to kind of break back down. So this is going to be really important to see and pay attention. How aggressive does this continuation of sell pressure bleed out for, right? Or is it maybe not really sustained, and tomorrow we have a reversal and truly close out of it? That's something to pay attention to. Definitely have this downtrend that's formed on the daily chart. So this is something to pay attention to, because we really need to see, if I've heard some people that are pretty good at TA that I have some respect for, that have said they feel like, on these zoomed out charts that we have, probably, and this was about a week ago, about 2 more weeks. So that would put us at around, the 21st through the 24th to kind of see some of that reversal starting to happen. And then that would kind of make sense, because that would mean that we probably have some more days of sell down. I don't want to see it, but that's kind of what the data in the charts are telling us here. And remember, this is very high level, so not super in-depth TA here, but this is what we're seeing, right, with the data that we got. So that's Bitcoin, guys. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully, it completely reverses today, but that is what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. Ethereum's going to be in a very similar situation on the hour chart. Looks like we are having this continuation of bleed out, even got a little head start on Bitcoin there. As you can see, 4 hours going to show just, backed up data here. So, backing up the thesis on the hour. Same thing with the daily. We got to, figure out, this one's not as bad. This was not as bad. But again, I don't think Ethereum's going to go off on its own while Bitcoin crashes. I just don't think that that's going to happen. Could it happen? Absolutely, it could, because that's actually one of the scenarios when you're full on in alt season, kind of the change of hands, right? The liquidity rotates. So I don't think that's the case here, though. So we just really need to wait and see what happens with Bitcoin, and we'll get more of a clear view on Ethereum there. The top 100 tokens here for the crypto bubbles. Telegram. Whoa, they must have been in the news.
So I don't know what that token is, because Telegram's token is called something ton.
Yeah, it is called ton. This
I don't know
definitely
what
looks
this
like
is. Telecoin?
Maybe. Let me I thought, yeah, you're right, it is ton. But whatever it is, there's got to be some big news with it.
Well, I know they the France has lifted his travel restrictions, but I don't know. Maybe did they rebrand the Tel?
No, this is called Telcoin. So it looks like it says download the Telcoin. Asset Bank is granted final approval. Historic moment. So maybe it's a part of. It looks like it has some involvement with U.S. politics too.
Yeah.
So this is something.
Do you know what chain it's on? Does it say what chain?
It could be its own. It doesn't say it's chain. Okay. It doesn't say it's chain here. But anyhow, there might be something. I'm seeing a post about the Nebraska state government. Interesting. Yeah, they're up 107%, maybe because of that, right? And then you see Aerodrome kind of sticking out here, right? They're pulled back about 18, almost 19% here. That's interesting. Pump is down 10.5%, probably because some of the mayhem people, but maybe not. By the way, that whole mayhem thing, if there's any fees earned by that, I think it's supposed to go towards the pump token. So, yeah, Aster is pulled back 5.1%, but there's more of a mixed bag here than I expected, considering how bad Bitcoin is looking currently. Although it's kind of doing what I said, doing the opposite of what I said. It's back up above 101, but temporarily we'll see. Zcash back up 7.3%. So people thought that was oversold. And by the way, I saw someone deployed a ZEC20, which was JSON. So we're back to that now. You're gonna probably have to do a transfer inscription for that.
But no, I never want to do one of those again.
Yeah,
not gonna do it.
They are up 7.3% here. Starknet pulling back after having a red day yesterday, up 4.1%. Quant up 7.8%. RWA stuff is getting back into conversation, so that could be helping that. XRP up 2.9%. Caspa up 3% here. Some notables, memes that pull back. SPX pulling back 3%. Pingu pulling back 2%. Pingu and that whole ecosystem been quiet lately, don't you think?
I agree. Yeah,
really quiet. Maybe they've been cooking.
Well, actually, it's funny. Luca Nets is on the Elizabeth Olsen show right now. So.
Oh wow. Gotcha. All right, let's take a look here at the top 200. Zora with a bounce back up 7.5%. Falcon Finance up 12.2%. You got Pulse rebounding at 4.8%. Toshi up 1.4%. Xano up 3.5%. Hex up 7%. Pulse X up 6.2%. APEPE up 4.1%. Everything else on the second, 100 through 200s seeing more of a hit than the top 100 here, but it looks like on average about 3 to 5%. So not too bad. So we will kind of wait and see what happens here. But yeah, that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the alt market for you guys.
It definitely feels risk off. I'll tell you that. It feels like you shouldn't be getting into anything right now unless you have a DCA plan. If your plan's a DCA and you just, you get paid every week and you're putting money in, it doesn't matter to you what the price is because you're happy to get them cheap. So just be careful out there right now. It's not looking good. I can see us going under 99 today. I hate to say it, but it just feels that way. But normally what happens, though, I get this feeling we do the opposite. So let's do the opposite when it comes to that. But let's jump over to the roll call here where we go in and check out your comments, see what you guys going on. If you guys want to talk about anything, put it in the chat. This is your time to shine. We'll cover every single comment right now. But we take the first comment of every show and we add it to a spreadsheet. Shout out Webdro. You have win number 55. Congratulations to you, my friend. It does look like you're about to win the frog. So absolutely awesome for you. If you guys don't know, we did a thing starting January 1st. Whoever had the most wins or most number ones comments of the day, you actually get put on a spreadsheet and hit 55 times. Absolutely awesome. Tim Baker was right there. Shout out to Tim Baker, AODR himself. Hydro Sapien, my guy, said dog on Zap app. We're going to talk about Zap app later. I am highly disappointed in that, by the way. Hydro Sapien is here. Says dog is king. Webdro says this time is different. Yeah, we'll see. Abstract is here. Chips and dip, my guy. Appreciate you, my friend. K99, he says bullish on Mayhem long term, he says. Satoshi Nakamoto is here, the guy who created Bitcoin and watches our show every single day. Absolutely awesome. Lucky Lukey is here. Glass Hopper. Good morning, legends. Good morning, Glass Hopper. Appreciate you, my friend. Cash Cats is here with the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to Cash Cats, my guy. Prime Minds, man, really appreciate you coming in here today. Definitely the number one commenter, and his comment today is, who's ready for the holiday bubble? Was a month early this year. I think we'll actually go up before mid-January. Dude, I don't know. I don't know. He said, did you guys get a chance to check out Open Ordinals Hackathon Season 2 at all? Tons of really cool apps and Bitcoin stuff. So I'm not bullish on anything Bitcoin L1. Yesterday, I had a 90-minute Bitcoin block, and I'm just so tired of everything Bitcoin. I moved on to – I love Bitcoin L2s. I love Merlin Chain for Bitcoin DeFi. I love Spark for the degeneracy that they're bringing to the table with LumenX and UTXO.fun. I'm just so done with anything L1. Do you feel any differently towards that?
I mean, I think that there could be some really cool like collectible stuff for that. But I don't think we're in the market for it. If you have, extra funds or something like that, then I think it could be cool, because I do think that stuff rebounds. And and I go back to the thesis of layer one is the warehouse and the factory where these assets are born, and then they go and they venture off and say, hey, look, we are a Bitcoin asset, but we need to be traded in a more scaled environment. That's it.
Yeah. He says you should go check out the Satoshi Dice from the hackathon. Yeah, I'm not really a gambler, dude. Like, I know I'm in crypto, but like I have no interest in rolling dice. I don't know. That's not my like. I like to buy coins as an investment, even like degen coins, as long as I'm bullish on where I'm getting the exposure from. You know what I mean? Like, as if that makes any sense. But
Satoshi Dice has been around forever, right? They made a new version.
Yeah, Eric Voorhees created it back in 2011. He shut it down in like 2013, 2014 when it started getting some heat. And then I guess somebody else just brought it back to life. But there's been dice on every chain. I think we've all seen it. But I'll definitely check it out, Prime Minds. Shout out to Cheaty, the legend himself, the blue suit wearing, the man, the legend. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for hopping in today. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, Prime Minds, I will definitely check it out. Appreciate you. And I appreciate every single one of you guys who makes roll call each and every day. We've got tons of topics to cover here. Let's just jump right into them. And so U.S. Congress finally ends a 43-day government shutdown with a whopping 222 yeses, 202 nos. So shout out to the U.S. government for finally doing the right thing here. And then they drove it over. The entire Republican Party went to the White House an hour and a half later, and Trump officially signed the bill ending the shutdown. So it passed the Senate, passed the House yesterday, and now President of the United States, Donald Trump, has signed it. So today, the White House has confirmed that Trump will make an announcement from the Oval Office at 2 p.m. Eastern time. What are you expecting him to say here? Or do you think that he's just going to be like a congratulation himself type of speech here?
Probably. I think it's more of like, we were able to get this done, and we're glad to be able to pay the government workers, et cetera, and the tariffs are going to be a big thing, and people are going to get money back, and that type of speech, I think.
Yeah, 100%. So the White House did come out today, and they said, no CPI jobs data will be released in October. And I actually have a video from Caroline. I think that's her name. She's the Trump speaker,
the press secretary.
Yeah, she had something to say. It was, I think I want to play it. I'll play it here.
Saying fourth quarter economic growth by 2 whole percentage points. The Democrat shutdown made it extraordinarily difficult for economists, investors, and policymakers at the Federal Reserve to receive critical government data. The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system, with October CPI and jobs reports likely never being released. And all of that economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers at the Fed flying blind at a critical period.
So what do you think happened here? Did they just not like the data, the CPI data, or like, what do you think? Like, why is she saying this right now?
Either that, or they're trying to leverage the situation to get them to cut rates in December and be more aggressive going towards quantitative easing. So it's kind of like, I think it's a chess game right now. Like, chess moves constantly. So, I mean, that's what I think, but who knows really, right? We won't see those numbers.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I'm hearing though is that they're not trusting the numbers. They don't want these numbers to come in with bad statistics, because the people that were doing this stuff, we're not getting paid during this. So, and I don't know about you, but if we weren't getting paid, I'd do things a little differently than I do if I'm getting paid, right? So I actually do a good job when I'm getting paid for it. But when it came to my old job or whatever, and if my job was like, hey, we're not paying you for 2 weeks, I don't know if I'm going to do much work in those 2 weeks. So they're basically saying now that they're not going to put out any data until December, when these people can actually get back to work and their jobs be accountable for their job.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the fair approach to take, but I guess you don't want to use, one thing you definitely don't want to use is skewed data, because you just don't want to, you know, things to roll out in terms of how they're going to affect decision making, all that stuff. So I guess they're just going to say, hey, look, we're going to you know, wash this last one out and then start next month.
Oh man, we'll see what happens. But there is some good news that normally happens after a shutdown. And shout out to, I do not have my screen share, but shout out to Quinten. He's somebody I've been following for a while. Quinten or 048.eth. He says every time the U.S. government shuts down ends, Bitcoin takes off. October 2013 shutdown ends at you know, at $145. By November, 1 month later, Bitcoin hits 1,163. So in 1 month, Bitcoin went up 700%. January of 2019, shutdown ends at $3,579. By June, about 6 months later, Bitcoin hit 13,880, about 287%. He's basically saying, you know, we're saying things about to happen here. The shutdown finished in November. Let's just say we take about 6 months or a month, but he's saying we're going to be a lot higher because he says every shutdown drains liquidity, every reopening floods it back in. How do you feel about potentially this being an outlier here?
I hope he's right. I hope he's right, because that would be great for the space right now. What we need, right, is for that historical, you know, reoccurring instance to happen again. And I don't want to, you know, talk too much about this because I feel like it hasn't really, historical stuff hasn't really happened this year very much. But
yeah,
but hey, this could change it. This could change it. You know, closing the government is a big deal and reopening it, but we'll see if it does have that positive effect on Bitcoin's price action and the rest of the space too. We need more than that, though. We need some sort of risk on type of environment, and I just don't know how we get that other than just having a ton of liquidity like poured back into the government, right? So if that's the case, then yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, 100%. And then just to kind of stay on the rate stuff. So Polymarket, the rates have dropped drastically. So just yesterday, we were seeing, you know, at 54, at like, what was it, 75%, I think we said yesterday. And today we're seeing about 56% and dropping. This is dropping the entire morning. It's at 60% this morning. So this is just dropping and dropping and dropping. What do you think, man? Do you still think, is this a bet worth taking at this point? Would you take it?
Maybe small, like,
Yeah.
you know, like this small bet. Yeah. Just to kind of be hopeful too. Right. But I don't like the direction it's going. I'll tell you that.
Well, I got some bullish stuff here. So SEC Chairman Paul Atkins, the guy who took Gary Gensler's job, proposes a token taxonomy to clarify digital assets. The plan aims to give clear rules for which tokens are securities and which tokens are not, reducing unclarity for the crypto. I don't know what the more is, but yeah, it basically giving clarity to everything that has uncertainty, right? And you know, one of the rumors is they want to give everyone a two-year window. So from the time that your company starts to the time, you know, it takes you to decentralize, to become a commodity and not a security. But it's okay to be a security, but you have to abide by the security laws. And we're actually gonna write different laws up for crypto securities than, you know, the normal security. So even if you are a security, technically, you will potentially not have to, you know, do all the stuff that, you know, public trading companies have to do. So this is really big in my opinion, and we're actually going to get some stuff here. What do you think about this?
I think this is good, and I wonder which companies and coins automatically kind of go into that securities bucket. Like you said, that they'll give them some time to change whatever they need to change if they want to get out of it, right? But definitely good for clarity and for businesses, and because I'll tell you, it's almost kind of like tax, right? You know, corporations constantly look for tax loopholes to save money and stuff. They're going to look for ways to not be a security if it benefits them, and you know, so we're going to find out, you know, who's considered security right away, and then, you know, which ones kind of go, and also if there's a benefit to be a security and have a coin as well, because we're going to find out if some of these companies stay that way.
Yeah, 100%. Like for instance, right now, I would say that something like Uniswap, who has a foundation, right? You can't consider them a security because the foundation controls the coins, yes, but they only have a partial say in what's happening. So to call Uniswap a security would just be wrong, completely wrong, because just because they only have 20% of the supply, so they need the other 31% to make any type of changes in the Uniswap protocol. So you can't really say that is a security. But something like maybe like PumpFun with the Pump token, as of right now, you know what I mean? I would call that a security in the sense of them being a company. They have a token. That token is not decentralized. There's, just because you own, percentages, I see no governance voting. I see nothing, but they're still pretty new. And I would give them another 6 months to try to decentralize. But I would call them a security, and I would call something like Uniswap a non-security or a commodity.
Yeah, I think that's fair. They're still kind of in the process of, delivering up of what their token's going to be for, right? Mm-hmm. And they just launched their token this year, while Uniswap has had like so many years to do this. So yeah, I think that's a good example of using those two. One that probably will end up getting to where Uniswap is, but they're in the middle of their journey.
And the question is, does Elon want to give the community that say in what they do on a day-to-day, right? I don't see that. I feel like they like to have the control because they have investors, right? Uniswap doesn't really have any investors besides people to buy the tokens, but we knew that Peter Thiel owns, part of that, that money that comes in, that those fees go to Peter Thiel and not the token holders, right? So I think that's a big difference too. When you have, investors that are getting the fees actually should go to the token holders if you want a decentralized economy.
Yeah, I mean, in some sort of way, right? Whether that's like a burn of the token or just, some way to where they can benefit. Yeah. And so, yeah, maybe I can't really see them doing that either. Maybe. Plus, I mean, they have an AI bot like in their thing now. There's decisions that already have been made. I mean, sure, they can decentralize it because you can still vote and removing that or creating a new standard and all that stuff. But you're right. I don't know if they would even want to go through that.
Yeah, we'll see. But I think it's fair to give these companies 2 years to figure it out. So, Nasdaq issues the official listing notice for the spot XRP ETF. XRPC fund is cleared to begin trading, marking the first U.S. spot XRP ETF and opening regulated access to XRP for investors. Trading for XRPC spot is set to begin in U.S. market open on Thursday, so it is officially trading about 3 hours ago. But congratulations to any XRP Army member. Congratulations to everyone who's been chirping the XRP word. I'm not a big proponent of XRP, but I'm very happy to see this come to light here.
Yeah. I think it's just another step, right? We talked about that, whether it's going to get people bullish on XRP right away or, it takes time. It's here. It's a part of the foundation that's being set. And I think there's so many coins. It's almost kind of like, the ETF effect probably will start to simmer off a bit, right? But we're still in some of these big names like XRP and Solana and stuff like that. Once we start to get to past that and see how far it goes down the line, it's obviously not going to be much of a big headline anymore.
I don't know. So Canary, they have a Solana ETF, they have a Litecoin ETF, they have a Hedera, and now they have the XRP, and they want to get a MOG.
Oh my gosh.
ETF, a MOG ETF. So if you don't know what MOG is who was that? Bitlord? He was the big MOG guy, right?
Was he?
I'm pretty sure. Didn't he get a MOG tattoo?
I thought it was another one that failed actually.
Might have been.
But
okay.
But MOG is the cat with the glasses.
Yeah, they made the glasses famous. Yeah. You see the MOG glasses and stuff.
But so this is a meme coin that is sitting at like $158 million market cap, and it launched on Ethereum, I think. Yeah, it launched on Ethereum. Maybe they're looking at, because it launched on Ethereum and there's like a big upside to it. Maybe that, but it's definitely like the smallest market cap, I think, for an ETF that would be proposed.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked by this. And this is Canary. Like I said, they're the only ones that are getting passed right now. Them and Grayscale. right? So the only ones with a
Mhm.
Solana ETF, they're the only ones with a Litecoin, only ones with a H-bar. I don't know what they're doing here, but I mean, they want a MOG. They want MOG, so that's pretty cool. Prime mindset, back to work, gentlemen. Enjoy this the sat, enjoy the day. My guy, appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for hopping in here. Definitely hop in tomorrow as well. But yeah, let's move along here. So Grayscale, their spot Doge and XRP ETFs have been added to the DTCC registry, which means they will be approved soon. So tomorrow, potentially, we could be getting the Grayscale XRP. Right now, they have a Grayscale XRP trust, and that'll be did the same thing they did with the Bitcoin trust, same thing they did Ethereum trust, and they will now have, you know, a XRP ETF. And then Grayscale has officially filed for their NYSE IPO under the ticker GRAY with an A. The filing reveals a dual class share structure, DCA control, and no price range yet. How do you feel about Grayscale? They're going to be putting out looks like they'll have the first Doge ETF on top of an XRP one and going public.
Yeah, the going public part is big, right? And I think they'll probably get a lot of attention from that because they have shown their experience in the space. I mean, they were kind of rolling the dice years ago about Bitcoin, you know, eventually having an ETF, right? So I think that was a smart move. Doge, look, I mean, it's the king of memes, right? So if there's any memes that are going to have an ETF, then Doge is surely going to have one. Right. So I think all these plays are solid that they're doing, especially the IPO one. I think that they're going to get good attention from that.
Yeah, man. And Barry Silbert has been somebody who's been really good for the space. I mean, back in 2013, the Winklevoss Twins, they went and they tried to get an ETF. Barry was smart. He kind of watched from the sidelines and said, you know, well, let's do a trust. And what a trust is, it just gives you exposure to the asset. There is actually, you're not buying the coin or nothing like that. You're just basically trusting this facility to hold this asset for you, and you're getting exposure if the underlying asset goes up. So he saw an opportunity there. The Winklevoss Twins didn't want to go that route. He did, and that ended up being a big success because when the Bitcoin ETF finally went through, they were able to easily convert their trust into an ETF. So Barry Silbert has been somebody who's been doing the right thing for a long time and moving the crypto space forward. So shout out to Barry Silbert, shout out to Grayscale. I love this move, and I'm actually rooting for this IPO.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that participate in it. A lot of big money. TradFi.
100%. All right, so something explosive hit Hyperliquid chain. A suspicious series of trades shows a level of precision and timing that strongly resembles a deliberate market attack. So this is a tweet from the great guys at OnChain Revolution. Let me just find it real quickly and I'll bring it up. So yesterday, a group of people potentially targeted Popcat on Hyperliquid, and I actually have a full breakdown of what exactly happened. If you want to go read this, you guys can just go to OnChain Revolution Media on X, and you guys can read the whole thing. But basically, around about 14:45 UTC, a cluster of wallets opened $20 to $30 million worth of long positions on Popcat. They held the price up with a massive buy wall at 21 cents, creating the illusion of strength. When the buy wall suddenly disappeared, or they removed it, the price collapsed instantly. The entire long position was liquidated within seconds. So they made it look like these guys were just being dumb and just made a bad decision. Hyperliquid's liquidity pool took the other side. So immediately, Hyperliquid they come in and try to patch the hole up and lost about $4.9 million as the price kept falling. Hyperliquid then manually, their bot came in and tried to plug the hole. They actually had to come in manually. So the centralized the version of this, because they do have a centralized pull button here, they had to come in manually and close the remaining exposure to stop further damage. So they lost 4.9 million, and they were about to lose a lot more, closer to 60 million, if they didn't plug this hole up. And basically, they just pulled it all. And you saw Popcat just dump after that, liquidating every long position. So investigators later traced the funding back to an OKX wallet linked that quietly withdrew about $3 million in USDC. So they were able to take off about $3 million immediately. But then you saw Hyperliquid, they actually paused all deposits and withdrawals to try to keep these guys inside, but they were able to get out about 3 million. Those funds were scattered across 19 fresh wallets, a structure that often signals an attempt to hide intent. The OnChain Monitor account, MLM, says the sequence looks like a planned attack designed to drain Hyperliquid money, not accidental trade gone wrong. Absolutely crazy. How do you feel about this? And another attack on Hyperliquid, and they had to actually go centralized to stop it.
Hey, do whatever you got to do at this point. Like if it's me, I'm ramping security up. I'm ramping everything up as much as I can. Just max everything. He obviously has had a target on their back for a while because our space is some parts of it's evil, like just like any other space, and they want more, or they want to extract money from the people that are leading the space because maybe they have a product on their side or whatever. Who knows who did it until they have an official announcement. But I would definitely keep doing what I have to. And if that means step in and have my devs step in manually to be able to stop that whatever you got to do.
I completely disagree. I mean, if you're going to come out here and
then give the money away.
Hold on, I'm just saying, if you're going to come out here and say you're a decentralized product, which they're saying they are, right, and then have these centralized stop losses come in, I think that you can't have it both ways. You can't be a decentralized. I'm just saying, but that's the difference. Binance, they're not out there saying that they're decentralized.
They are with Aster.
Aster's different though because it's not technically
the same thing. It's Hyperliquid.
I know, but it's not Binance. So Binance is an investor in Aster, but they're not. It's different, right? So Aster has never done anything like this. We haven't seen Aster come in and centralize anything yet. It will happen eventually, probably, but I don't think you can have it both ways. I don't think you can come out here and say you're a decentralized organization, and with the Hyperliquid token and saying it's the users of the holders of the Hyperliquid token are the owners of the protocol. I think it's all BS. I don't think you can have it both ways. I think if there's something that happens here, you got to let the liquidity pool get sucked out. I don't think you can come in here and
but I guarantee all their holders are happy that they.
But that's fine. Then become a centralized exchange.
Well, it doesn't matter because Aster's doing it, and CZ never posted.
Aster hasn't done anything centralized yet.
It doesn't matter. They will at one point. If they're built the same way structurally, then it's just it hasn't happened to them yet. Okay, but they do boast about being a decentralized platform, and CZ has directly posted about Aster, and he's never posted about any other coin except for Bitcoin and BNB.
But we haven't seen anything from Aster yet, so I think that you got to throw it out the window. But until we see
I don't, because they're technically the same buildup. They're a technical the same buildup. Because then, if that's the case, then Aster can't say that anymore. You know what I mean?
Aster hasn't done anything centralized at all. Not one thing.
You don't know that in the back end. Actually, they did. They lied about their volume. They lied about their volume completely. And
it wasn't lying about their volume. It was happening on chain, but it was pushed through Binance. Okay, Binance was doing the volume for them. So it was, again, that wasn't anything Aster did.
But you also said
Binance was using the rails.
You said that they're not Binance though, but they are. I mean, in that case,
Binance is using their rails. Binance could use Hyperliquid's rails the same way without Hyperliquid saying anything.
Why would Binance do that whenever they've been doing their own centralized version of that?
I'm just saying, but there's a reason why they started using Aster, right? But I'm just saying, like, they're two separate entities. And I'm just saying that, Binance has to do a lot of things to be a centralized company. They have to show, a whole bunch of different things. Hyperliquid right now, I mean, they can get away with stuff and saying they're decentralized when they're not decentralized.
Aster same way though, and
again, but I'm not talking about Aster.
I know, but I'm bringing them up as an example because they are the same build style. They are an example.
So is Lighter. So is other ones.
All of them.
They haven't done anything yet. But that's what I'm saying. Then I think they should all have to go do the same laws as Coinbase, the same laws as Kraken. If you're going to be centralized, be centralized. If you're going to be decentralized, be decentralized. You can't have it both ways.
Okay, so then I'll agree with you on that. I feel like if you're going to do that to Hyperliquid, you got to do it to everybody else that's trying to do the same thing.
Exactly. 100%. That's kind of my whole point.
But I felt like you were pointing them out.
Be decentralized. Well, no, my whole point is if you're going to be decentralized, be decentralized. If you're going to be and this goes for all of them. It goes for Lighter. This goes for Aster. If you can't come in and plug a hole up centralized, if you're going to say you're decentralized, otherwise that's fine. You can be a centralized company, but now you have to go and do all the framework that Coinbase has done, everything that Binance has done, everything that OKX has done. It's not fair to decentralized exchanges to have something like this be out there and then not having to go through the same laws.
So Hyperliquid could pull a Solana and just have emergency vote in whenever a situation happens like that, and just
that would be fine.
And have, you would be okay with that, even though that's like a loophole, because at the end of the day,
it's not a loophole because there's voters.
Sure, have all the tokens in one or like 3 wallets, and then do an emergency vote so you can stop and plug a hole. Basically, that's what it was. That's what Solana did. Is they voted for that guy not to be able to sell how much ever he was trying to sell at that moment, and they froze the chain. So this is not fine. Like the only thing that they could do, I guess, to make it technically, you know, a decentralized move would be to do what Solana did. And I guess maybe if they care that much about the title, then maybe they can do that.
It's not about the title. It's about now being a decentralized exchange doesn't, now you don't have to go by the rules everyone else has to go by. I'm just saying you can't have it both ways. You know, you can't have it both ways. You can't,
there needs to be clarity for sure.
Exactly. And I'm hoping we get it soon, because like technically you can call Hyperliquid token a security at this point, because the only benefit you're getting of holding it is, you know, is the number go up. Right, just same thing as if you hold Amazon. So,
true.
SuiNetwork has unveiled USDSUI, a native stablecoin issued by Stripe-backed stablecoin company. So we saw Phantom do this about a few weeks ago. Now they have, you know, USD Phantom. SuiNetwork now has their official own coin through the Stripe-backed stablecoin company. I think this is a big deal, because I think every chain is going to be able to have this. I think it's really smart for them, because they can centralize this coin and not have to call. Let's just say there's a hack on the chain or something, right? And you know, you need something frozen, you know, and this is centralized. Like Circle is a centralized company who will freeze your USDC if they're asked to. You know, I feel like having something like this is okay as long as it's voted on by the Sui holders. Right, so I think this could be something that benefits them in the future when it comes to hacks. We did see a hack previously, but they couldn't get you know, Tether didn't freeze anything, USD didn't freeze. So this kind of gives them that centralized stablecoin that they kind of need, where they have to say, their holders have to say.
Yeah, and I think like these big chains that have tons of institutional investment in them, they're gonna have more and more of this kind of centralized product or whatever integration, especially with stable coins. That's obviously like a big like regulation type of situation that's been, you know, laying the foundation for that. But most people, I think, that are going to be onboarded are going to be okay with this. Maybe some of the old school people won't necessarily, but like you said, if they use a governance vote for this, then it checks, it clears.
100%. Really bullish on. I'm actually getting more bullish on Sui as the price drops. I think it's really decentralizing the tokens. I feel like a lot of the bigger players are exiting. That's what it feels like. It feels like we all know Sui's a VC coin, right? Sui has been a VC coin since day one. They are a product of Facebook, right? They're a part of the Libra program, and them and Aptos are both very funded by VCs, and it does feel like the VCs are, you know, maybe dumping a little bit of exposure. So it's definitely see Sui kind of decentralize a little bit when it comes to the holder count and stuff. So, all right. So the U.S. penny is officially dead. The U.S. Mint produced a final penny on Wednesday, ending the coin's 232-year-old life. So you might not think this is crypto, right? But it technically is, because, you know, there will always be pennies technically and stablecoins. There'll always be 0.0000 in a stablecoin. So this is kind of signaling to me that we're about to enter a digital world where a lot of the coins are going to be extinct in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think the dollars as we know it, these greenbacks are going to be gone, and we're going to go to a fully digital economy. Do you kind of see that with this?
I do, but would you want that last penny?
I might go buy some pennies.
No.
That's what you're saying.
The very last penny that was ever minted.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
about that.
they're probably gonna frame that like in the White House or somewhere, but that would be crazy to get that right. But yeah, this is kind of the they've been talking about getting rid of pennies anyways.
Yeah,
like everybody hates pennies, right? It's like you don't like to carry change in general, but like pennies, if you have majority of pennies, you're just like, God, just but it is going to be, coins are going to go to the wayside. I think collecting some coins would probably be smart, especially the rare ones. Even the like $2 bills and stuff that are unique. It might take some time, but that could be a fun collection to build up.
Yeah, and I personally only have cash for 2 reasons. One of the reasons is like birthday cards. Like, my mom's birthday, I go get $200 and I put it in a birthday card, right, or something like that. So that's one reason I only get cash. The other reason is like this one butcher I go to. So for some reason, their debit card system's always down, so I have to get cash to get steaks and stuff from the butcher. And every time I go in, I give her 20. She gives me, how much money back or whatever. And the one day she didn't have enough pennies or whatever, so she went into her tip jar and got the pennies. And I'm trying to tell her, I'm like, I don't want it. Like I don't want the change. I don't want the change, and I end up just putting it back in the tip jar anyway. I'm just so disgusted by that. I don't want to touch dollars. I don't want I don't know if these people are like picking their nose or touching their asses. Like I don't want hand-to-hand contact anymore. I want to just put my debit card in front of this machine or put my phone in front of the machine and just be done. I don't want to touch anything anymore. Is that weird? Am I just going crazy? I don't know.
I mean, you did kind of start to sound like a germaphobe, but I mean, money's dirty, right? It's dirty.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it is pretty dirty, especially coins. They pick up dirt like a lot. But
I don't want that shit in my pocket.
No one likes to hold cash really, anyways, unless you're at the casino and you win at poker or something like that.
Well, even then, I'm holding chips.
Yeah, true. Those are probably nasty too, though.
I'm hoping they get cleaned, but who knows, right? So, have some of a chip cleaner or something. But I know there's no quarter cleaner, not from my understanding. But yeah, I'm completely done with cash. The 4 times a year I have to hold cash is, well, it's more now because the damn butcher needs to get his freaking credit card machine working. But I do love my steaks. All right, move along though. TKO and Polymarket strike a multi-year deal to bring prediction markets into the UFC events per NBC. TKO, they are the company behind WWE Wrestling, and they're the company behind UFC. Absolutely huge for Polymarket. We announced yesterday they had the deal with Yahoo. Today it's TKO, UFC. How do you feel about this? I feel like I wish they had a coin, because their coin would just be up every day. I feel like they're wasting these partnerships and not having a coin.
Yeah, are you talking about Polymarket?
Yeah.
They're probably doing some sort of pre-seed stuff, I imagine. I mean, like when you're at that size, there's big institutional money that's being thrown, and so they find a way to make sure that those guys win, because they're not going to invest unless they win. And most of those type of companies, the Polymarkets and stuff like that, they have equity or some sort of other way of revenue distribution or something, and instead of the typical coin type of situation. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them if they do eventually have a coin, because they might do a coin just for like rewards or something for their users in the end, and the investors won't care about that because they're more concerned about revenue and equity. So but partnering a lot, right? So that's huge. I mean, these are big leagues and stuff and brands. So
I mean, Yahoo yesterday, TKO today. I'm just waiting for who's tomorrow. You got to make a guess tomorrow. Who's tomorrow? Like, I mean, it's every day.
NFL, did they do the NFL yet?
Not yet, no.
So I think NFL and NBA are the 2 obvious ones.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Kalshi is trying to work something out with them as well. So you only can pick one of those. They have the NHL. But
Winklevoss Twins, a bet on Zcash. The twins are launching a new treasury firm with plans to accumulate around 5% of the entire Zcash supply. These guys haven't been bullish on Zcash for a long time. They were, I remember back in 2021, they did come out and say, they won't be listing Zcash on their platform because of the privacy concerns. But now it does feel like they have it listed. I don't know that 100%, but I'm sure they do if they're going to be trying to accumulate 5% of the entire supply. What do you think about Winklevoss getting into the privacy narrative?
Man, I mean, are they kind of with this whole whale kind of movement to privacy? Maybe that's what they're seeing. They witnessed the price go absolutely nuts. They probably offer it on Gemini.
I'm not
do
sure.
they not?
I know they did. They did it in 2021 because of the fact that they were afraid of Gary Gensler, but they might have it listed now.
Yeah. So, if they do, go even heavier into something with Zcash, then you can kind of put the dots together and say, we kind of see for sure, like these whales really were pushing Zcash, and Zcash could be a big play. I mean, and they're probably also thinking supplies comparable to Bitcoin. It's very similar in that aspect, and people could value it because of the privacy in the future. It could be a big kind of 4 to 6 year play, right? Where it goes up to thousands of dollars.
I mean, it could be something that's 20K in 4 years, right? I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, honestly. But we'll see. Arcom shows that Owen Gunden, a holder since 2011, had 11,450 Bitcoin worth 1.4 billion. Just a month ago, he has now sold 6,100 Bitcoin worth $616 million. And it potentially could be selling the rest of his bag here. Owen has been somebody who's held through everything. He's never really sold any Bitcoin from this wallet. I don't know how they have his name and everything, but apparently he's registered, I'm guessing, for tax purposes. But he's somebody who's been, bullish on Bitcoin. But he, if he's thinking this is the 4-year cycle, if he's thinking on November, I have to sell, or maybe that was his goal. I'm selling in November, no matter what the price is, because I know the cycle's over. I've been here since 2011. I know the cycles. And we're seeing more and more of these whales waking up, dumping them on Binance. And what happens is Binance sends them the Wintermute. They dump them on Coinbase Prime. Coinbase sends them the Wintermute. And that is why people think Wintermute's the enemy here, but they got to do something with 11,450 Bitcoin, right? They can't, one exchange can't take the hit alone.
Yeah. I mean, but how greedy do you have to be, right? I mean, 1.4 billion, that's like his life has changed forever, and his family's life has changed forever. And he has how much left?
So he sold 616.
Okay.
And he has 542 million left.
And my statement stays the same. 616 million. I know 1.4 billion is a lot. It's a lot more money, but 616 million is enough to change your life and your family's life, right? And so I think he's just probably wanting to start to rip some of those rewards. I mean, you know, holding for that long, that's diamond hands, right?
That is. And he sounds like he was very well off before he got into Bitcoin, right? But I mean, in 2011, he was buying this much Bitcoin for, I don't know, maybe $20,000-$30,000, and he turned a $30,000 investment into $1.4 billion. That's something you only really see in movies, man. That's crazy. Congratulations to Owen. But this is kind of why we're seeing Bitcoin dump here in November, is because a lot of people think, hey, if we're in the 4-year cycle, this is the top. But I don't think it is.
And you can't blame them for that, because
that's
how it's worked. That's how it's worked. Up until this one. And if they're wrong, they're wrong. He has $616 million to feel okay for being wrong, right? So
100%. But let me ask you this: does he sell the rest of it in November?
No, I don't think he sells the rest of it. I mean, if he's able to hold for that long, and he has $616 million, I think he holds to kind of say, hey, look, I'm gonna zoom out a bit. He might be worth 10 million or however much million he is currently before he sold that. He's exceptionally, like, he's way more wealthy now, right? And so, yeah, he holds that.
And you have to remember, you know, the U.S. government's going to be taking 200 million of that for tax purposes, right? Every time you sell, for especially when it's that much money, they're going to be. And it depends on where he's at, right? If he's in California, they're taking half of it. If he's in New York, they're taking half of it, right? So it really depends where he resides as well. So we have to remember that hit as well, you know. So I don't know. I'm with you. I don't think he sells the rest of it. I think he hodls. But you know, he's somebody who has generational wealth now forever. So his grandkids will look back and say, Owen Gunden. All right. So Zap came out yesterday, introducing Zap, the fastest and easiest way to buy. It says crypto, but it's only showing dog. So you can go there. You can send USDC from Solana to this app that you downloaded iOS. I downloaded it yesterday. I was able to send, you know, a few dollars in USDC to the wallet. You can't send Solana itself. You have to only send USDC on Solana. And in my opinion, it's dog shit. It seems to be, you know, you can buy Apple Pay. I know it's day one, but this is the shit I hate. You know, you put this out, get everyone hyped, and then it's just complete dog shit on day one. Obviously, they're going to be adding more and more, but not impressed. Not impressed at all. Very disappointed.
I didn't deposit last night because I think I actually downloaded it early this morning, so I didn't even get a chance. But yeah, so he did advertise dog, really big down there. So dog, you know, community is probably appreciative for that for sure. But you know, without depositing, I didn't really venture anywhere else. But I did try to kind of really quickly look, and I couldn't find very many useful tools right then and there.
Just Apple Pay. That's it.
Okay, so it's like basically load up.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can sell. Honestly, I didn't even look to see if you can sell. But yeah, I very disappointed. Very disappointed. And I don't think they're going to have a launch pad. And it says buy on any chain, buy anything. And they're just using the dog, you know. When I did buy, I went and put in the Solana address, and I see my purchase happen. So it's just you know, it's just buying on chain. It's just using the liquidity pools from Solana. So, but yeah, all right, moving along. Taiwan is reviewing its size. It sees that Bitcoin to access a potential national BTC reserve by end of year. So Taiwan, by the end of this year, will have a national Bitcoin reserve backing its currency. Pretty huge in my opinion. Shout out to Taiwan, and they're potentially going to be buying Bitcoin next year. I think that's why Bitcoin surges next year when these companies start adding, because right now they're just using to seize Bitcoin, but eventually they're going to say we need more of this, and they're going to be adding.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. Like the, you know, kind of rush necessarily to create, you know, a stockpile for these other countries. It's just been companies really. But so this is a good sign that they're doing that. I do think it happens, but when that happens, you know, that could be, you know, a really hyper uptrend, you know, type of situation. I don't know. I kind of expected that this year, though. I expected countries to do that this year. Instead, we got MetaPlanet. We got, you know, some other countries that we're talking about setting up stuff like CZ loves to take credit for. I think it's Kazakhstan or something. One of those stand countries that have tons of Bitcoin mining because electricity is like negative money to do, right? It's like free basically. So I mean, I think there'll be a point where we do see hyper Bitcoinization. It's just we're not there yet.
Yeah, 100%. Nation states haven't started buying, but they will. Superfans back in the day, the old folks playing the slots in Las Vegas would have the completely black fingerprint. Hands dirty from handling coins over. Disgusting. Yeah, I am not down for that game. I like the cards. I like just like the one casino that I used to go to. Just had a card you can just fill up with cash and you just swipe it. It's like you're right there.
Oh, for the slot machines, yeah, they did start doing that.
Polygon Foundation CEO Stan Deep says Japanese stablecoin JPYC is exploding on Polygon with growth moving over 20 to 100 times faster than Avalanche or Ethereum. So JPYC is the Japanese stablecoin that's backed 1-to-1 with a yuan or whatever their currency. I think it's yuan. But anyway, that said it is exploding, and it said on Polygon it's 20 to 100 times faster. We do know that Polygon is one of the fastest chains. Behind Sonic and I think behind Solana. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, how do you feel about, you know, potentially Japanese stablecoins running on Polygon here? Pretty insane.
What are they doing with them?
It's back and forth. I don't know. There is some companies that do take them and stuff like that. So when you buy, let's just say on a Japanese exchange, you can use just how we use USDC. You can use JPY.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I guess there's some sort of situation with Polygon that, yeah, I mean, that's one thing about Polygon, Sandy, I feel like he's underrated. If you look at like some of the partnerships or integrations, I mean, Polymarket, goodness gracious, like I would never have said the leading, predictions market, because at the time I wasn't even know what that was really, but like, let's say if they explained it to me, like a sports betting thing, but with everything, would be on Polymarket. And then you saw Courtyard, one of the first kind of, RWA assets with the collectibles industries, baseball, Pokemon cards. They do $15 to $17 million a week in revenue, and they're on Polygon, right? So I do think that he's kind of underrated, or him or someone from his team is underrated in terms of getting those connections, because they're doing good in terms of who's on there.
Yeah, 100%. Polygon it could end up being one of the top chains. I think it's way undervalued. We'll see. And the final thing I have here is Magic Eden buybacks. So they'll be using about 30% of the fees that you pay for using Magic Eden, and they will be buying 15% of that. They will be buying the Magic Eden token back. They're not saying if they're going to burn it or not, but they're going to be buying 50% of the token back, and the other 15% of the fees will actually go to buying collections for them to store in their vaults, their long-term vaults. Potentially Node Monkeys is one of those collections that they're looking to accumulate. Obviously CryptoPunks, Bored Apes, and some of the larger ones from the larger chains, they're looking to potentially start buying these NFTs off their own exchange and pocketing them into vaults and keeping them a part of their treasury.
This is a good move, I think, because you're satisfying your base, right, by doing that and kind of putting this treasury together. But man, that's yeah, they're going to be very particular, I think, with the ones that they select, right? Because you definitely don't want to kind of spray and pray. You don't want to use that strategy here. But the buybacks is cool. That is obviously something that is, caught people's attention this cycle. You had it with I think the biggest one that really, started that trend back up, because buybacks have been around forever. But you're talking about Hyperliquid, because you saw the effect. That was the biggest thing. When you saw the effect of Hyperliquid's token price not go down after a massive airdrop. In fact, it went the other direction. It went up because they were using fees from their platform to purchase the supply up. Then you're like, wow, I kind of appreciate teams that do, some sort of buyback, right? And you have Merlin. Also, Jeff had mentioned they quietly did it. They didn't let the people know necessarily because they didn't want to have unrealistic expectations about it. But they've been buying back Merlin's token as well. And so something to look for, and something to also dig deeper is how are they executing it once they announce that they're doing it.
100%. Great show today, man. I think it was absolutely awesome. Remember, guys, we are live over on Zora, and we're live on Pump. We got some comments over here on Zora. This person wants us to buy their creator coin. We're probably not going to do that, but we appreciate you anyway for coming in here and showing us some love and just putting the comments there. Remember, guys, we're on Abstract Kick everywhere else, man. So we just appreciate every single one of you guys who tune in every single day. Absolutely amazing, and just love it.
Absolutely. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Without you guys, we could not do the show. And that's something we definitely want to say and let you guys know every day. But also, without our partners, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate that. Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you are looking to jump your ordinals, your Bitcoin ordinals, or Bitcoin NFTs like Counterparty, Rare Pepes, those type of NFTs over to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault. And the reason why is because they've been doing this for a long time. They've been doing it since 2020, 2021. So those Rare Pepes on Ethereum, they were the ones that got them over there, right? And so make sure you guys are using them for that. And then you can actually take a loan against your Taproot Wizard on the Gandhi application if you jump it over to Ethereum, which is the largest borrowing and lending application on Ethereum. Also, there's this it was a token works, I believe, that created like the strategy tokens. Punk Strategy got to almost 300 million. They partnered with them and brought over the Nakamoto's over to Ethereum as well. So they're doing a strategy for that. So check into that as well. But this team's going to open this up to other environments, other EVM layers. And then of course, Solana is on that roadmap. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem with Agent Hustle. AI. If you go to agenthustle.ai, you can ask Hustle, because there is a free subscription level and you get a certain amount of prompts. You can ask Hustle to find you some low cap gems. He'll bring back a couple options for you and reasons why he thinks that these are solid options. And then you can actually set up conditional trades, as there's a conditional trade engine built in Hustle, and he can take care of trading meme coins or whatever coins on Solana on your behalf while you're taking care of whatever you need to take care of. But it's not also only for Solana. They have integrated this into Hedera, Hashgraph, HBAR, right? So if you are over there and you want some information, you can use Hustle to find some gems for you. I know that their meme coin launchpads are kind of getting underway, so it's perfect timing to kind of mess with it and get familiar with it. But Hustle also has the Ethereum and other EVM layers that are coming. So make sure you're following them on X with the Agent Hustle X account there. There's also another product within the ecosystem called migrate.fun that allows you, if you launched on a launchpad in Solana, PumpFun or Bonk, any of them, and you want to migrate to another launchpad or manage your own LPs, but it allows you to be able to migrate and take the liquidity that's locked in those launchpad LPs over. Of course, you need your community on board with you on that, but they'll guide you through the process, right? So they finished their first cohort, I want to say about a month ago, and now they're in their second one. Some big names in this one, as well as last one, but this one they got Pay AI as well. And so if you're interested, check out this second cohort, see how it's going. Reach out to them at migrate.fun or emblem.vision, which you can also go to learn more about all the products I just broke down for you guys. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have their Wizard version 2.0 that can guide you through their ecosystem, but also trade for tokens outside the ecosystem. All you got to do is have some Merlin Bitcoin in your Bitcoin wallet or your Merlin wallet, and then you can trade for Solana tokens or BSC tokens. But they also can do DeFi functionalities within the Merlin ecosystem on your behalf, like swap for tokens or staking. And speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security model that you can participate with in 3 ways. The first way is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. They already had their first staking vault, which ended September 30th, and they got 17% APR back for their stakers that staked Bitcoin and earned 17% APR in Bitcoin. So you get that in Bitcoin. So super exciting with that. But the next one, I think it's done January 8th of 2026. So you still have some days to get in there. And then there's 2 ways with the Merlin Chain token that you can participate. The first way is the flexible day-to-day staking vault. You earn 15% APR on that one. You can claim your rewards every single day. You can do whatever else you want with those rewards that you get. You can restake them, sell them, whatever you want to do. But there is a 7-day cooldown period if you want to withdraw your Merlin Chain tokens out of this program here. And then the last one is the bonded option that locks the tokens up for 6 months. And then you earn 45% APR on that one. But you can claim your rewards daily as well in this one. Decide whatever you want to do with those tokens. But it is locked up for 6 months, so just know that as well. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always, guys, I have a few more minutes. If wouldn't mind check it out. OnChainRevolution.io. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like I'm going to get started and code up to where we are today. Brand new article just dropped this week all about America.fun, that new launchpad on Solana from the WillFi guys or WillFi advisor. Definitely check it out if you haven't yet. It's about 3 to 4 minute read. We have so many amazing articles here. You check them all out on this website. If you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend NordVPN. I use it every single day, and you guys can too. Why have a VPN? Number one reason is, some companies' websites geo-block you. What geo-blocking means is that just because you're in the US, you're not allowed to use our site. But if you have a VPN, you put yourself to Italy, and then there's nothing stopping you. You can use MEXC, you can use HyperliquidX. But on top of that, too, is like when you go to a site without a VPN, you're giving them your IP address. Don't do that. That's stupid. That can actually lead them to your home address to identify you for whatever reason. Do not do this, guys. Get a VPN. It's super cheap. I mean, it's $2.99. Get it today. Lock it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it. Get an extra 3 months. So 27 months locked in for like $60, $70. You can't beat that. Get a VPN today. On top of that, we are discontinuing our merch shop. So if you want some merch, your time is running out. We realized that right now everyone's broke and nobody's buying merch. So we're paying our third party for no reason. So if you guys are interested in getting some merch, we might bring this back later next year. But for the time being, this is your last opportunity to get any on-chain or Revolution merch. Check it out today. And remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow,
peace.
On-chain, 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 on-chain. On-chain revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. On-chain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. On-chain